What is going on, guys? It's Scorpion HD here, and today I'm back with another video. This is some Battlefield 4 gameplay. However, the gameplay in the background isn't well, it's not for anything other than your enjoyment. So in this video today I kind of wanted to talk a bit about the DualShock 4 controller on the PlayStation 4 and some of the problems that I've had with this controller so far, because I'm a big fan of the controller. It's a huge improvement over the DualShock 3. I have got, obviously, if you've watched my channel and videos and stuff for quite a while now, about, nearly a year ago I got an Xbox 360 controller for my computer to, use that as a gamepad whenever I want to play, racing games on the PC or whatever, because obviously mouse and keyboard isn't always ideal in some situations. So, yeah, I have that, and that is, it's, a lot of people would say that the Xbox 360 controller was, a lot more comfortable than the PS3 controller, which is true, it probably was. And I would go as far as saying that the DualShock 4 is, if not better, just as comfortable to hold as the 360 controller. So they've obviously made a lot of improvements to the controller. However, there have been quite a lot of problems with this controller so far. In fact, there's been more problems with the controller than there have been the actual console. Now, I'm fairly sure that the failure rate on the PlayStation 4 console is pretty low. There's something about, like, it doesn't, unless you get a bricked console or something, they're very hard to, the way on the yellow light of death, that's kind of what I'm trying to say. It doesn't really happen on a PS4. It just sort of powers itself off, and, if you don't play it, that is, it cools itself down, and it should be, ready for use again soon enough. That's, if the worst comes to the worst and your console does overheat at any stage. But yeah, there's not been a huge amount of problems with console failures. It's mostly been down to the actual controllers. The first major problem is, it seems to be the material that the thumbsticks are made of. I'm a big fan of the thumbsticks on the DualShock 4. I think they are they're a lot better than DualShock 3's. It's it's far more ideal for games like Battlefield or COD, where you need to have you need to be a lot more accurate. And previously on the PS3 I had to use control freaks, not necessarily for the actual advantage of using them, but basically for grip, and they kind of provided me with a similar sort of, I guess, grip on the thumbsticks on the PS3 as you get standard on the PS4. So yeah, I don't think there's a need for anything like that on this controller. I would say the grips are really well thought out. However, the material that they're made from, there have been a large volume of reports that it wears down after time, and people after 2 weeks use or whatever have exposed the plastic underneath it because it's just worn away simply by playing. So yeah, that's one problem that the controllers are having, and I don't really like to highlight these problems about this controller because I'm a big fan of it. However, the reason that I'm talking about this is I'm about to get onto it now, and there's a bit of a problem with the triggers on this controller, and that that includes both the L1 and R1 buttons and the L2 and R2 buttons. Now, I don't know what has happened with these controllers. I know that if you get the console in the first year, everyone says, oh, you come off worse, you're gonna have stuff that's broken, stuff's not gonna work right, they're gonna make changes over time, blah de blah. But at the same time, you would expect it to work and not fall apart within 2 weeks. And I've seen on forums there have been people that their controllers have broken after 2-3 weeks, and I've went through about 4 of them since the console's release. But yeah, the triggers, L1 and R1 in some cases can stick, like whenever you push them in they won't pop back out like they're supposed to, and that is fixable if you take the controller apart, and I believe you just have to clean like a little dot or something. And yeah, they're not the biggest problem ever, but the problem that I have, and probably the worst problem on this controller, is with the L2 and R2 triggers, and basically what has happened to the trigger is the spring inside of the controller, basically, right, there's two tabs on the back of a trigger, and one of these tabs is broken off, and this is a real common problem. Like, I've researched this and it's happening to loads of people, and it's obviously just a clear manufacturing flaw. Basically what has happened is a little bit of plastic has broke off, and that's it causes the the trigger doesn't go back to its original position. It only goes about halfway, and it also bends off to the what is that? Yeah, it bends off to the right a bit, and there's also, you can see in the gap, where you would usually pull down the trigger, the way there's like a little gap you can look through, you can fully see into that, and it doesn't go back into its proper position, and that's not fixable, really. I've seen people take the controller apart and try and super glue the little plastic bit back on, but you're gonna have to know where the plastic bit is, and I don't, and I'm not really prepared to take my controller apart anyway. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to send my controller off to Sony, as everyone else has to. So that also means that I don't know where, I haven't rang up or anything, but I assume sending it to Sony means that I've got to ship it off to America, because that was the case for the PS3. So I'm sure it's the case with the PS4 as well. So that's probably gonna mean I'm not gonna have any PS4 controller for about a month, and I play the system far too much for that to be the case. So I'm gonna have to go out and buy a second controller, which in fairness I probably would have done eventually anyway. It's just kind of annoying that this is hitting me at a time where I've been saving up for games like the Elder Scrolls Online and other games in general that I'm interested in playing in my free time. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to highlight that today. Other than that, I've had no problems with this controller. I've been using it for about 4 months now, and it wasn't that hard to get used to. I think it's far superior to the DualShock 3. Just if Sony could possibly, I don't know, fix all this stuff for the future models of it that they make, or whatever, the models that get manufactured now, or I don't know, maybe they've already fixed it, but yeah, it seems to be a pretty common problem, and it's kind of frustrating that this has happened. It is covered by warranty, so if you do find yourself in a situation where the controller or whatever, or even your PS4 has broken, or something's just not right about it, in my case the controller's still usable, but I shouldn't have to settle. I want it to be in pristine condition, and be I want it to be in a good condition anyway. I don't want to have to settle for something hanging off, so I may as well get it covered under my warranty and get it replaced or fixed. But yeah, it's covered on everything, in the box, and the PS4 box is covered under a 1-year warranty. But yeah, guys, if you've had any problems with your DualShock 4, or maybe even your Xbox One controller, I obviously don't have an Xbox One yet, so I don't know anything about that. Be interesting to see if it has any flaws as well. But yeah, guys, this has been a Scorpion HD. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have had any problems with your controllers or whatever, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and yeah, cheers. Oh, tonight.